Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is just a little postscript on heads, portraits, if you like. And I thought I'd give you a little bit more of a key into the character that you're working with, i.e., me. So I originally trained in 3 dimensions in Manchester, where I did a degree, and then I went into teaching. So I spent most of my time teaching and not that much time practicing. Probably around 7 or 8 years ago now, I decided that I'd start to do a bit of drawing and painting. And this is one of the first portraits I did. I think it's the second painting I did in oils. Here's a couple of sketches that I've just started. One you can see is fairly realistic. It's actually a slight rip-off of Chuck Close, for those who know Chuck Close, because he did a great drawing of his mother with his thumbprints on a huge scale. This obviously is not on a huge scale, it's on a large scale, and it's done with soft pastels, dry pastels. But I used the thumbprint to get the textures in there. That was a first step, just to hone my drawing skills, because I've not drawn for the last few years whilst I've been setting up E5 portfolio. The real direction I want to take it in is much more this thing, where I'm starting to play around on an emotional level with the audience. Why am I using self-portraits? Well, like everybody, I'm probably pretty obsessed with who I am and what I'm doing. And that's one of the things we need to learn, to listen to the others. But the other thing, of course, is I'm always available. And it doesn't cost me anything to draw myself. And as with everybody, I've got a story to tell. And the thing that I very much like about the portrait is that we can start to distort, and we can start to blur, and we can start to scream, or whatever it is we want to project into that. What your story is, what you project, how you set about this task is really up to you. All I'm doing is giving you a little key into one character's mind, and I'm really intrigued to find out what's going on between your ears and how you're going to express that visually. If you do start with the concept of a self-portrait, then make sure that we're getting a look at this stuff, because it's of real interest to all of us. Final point is, on my behalf, is really an apology, because 90% of the references that I'll be giving you in terms of whose work you should be looking at will of course be white, male, and most of them will be dead. Why is that? Quite simply because these guys were the guys who wrote the history books. That doesn't make history true. It makes it a useful tool, but of course there is much that is being readdressed, particularly at this moment in time. And one of them is the role of the female. And of course there have been some females who were very famous in their own lifetimes who weren't written up in the history books. The role of the minorities. Why aren't there more black artists? Of course, there are. We just need to afford opportunity and to shine the spotlight on the scene. So one of the reasons, one of the premises behind E5 is obviously to engender an open, a diverse debate about who we are as a species and where we're going, both on an individual basis and on a collective basis. And that concept of identity is something that's fundamental to E5 portfolio. Not surprising that we're quite interested in portraiture. Okay, enough for now. See you soon.